My name is Jang Jae-ho Moon. I play Joe. Please cheer for me. This is my Inter Extreme Masters World Championship.
My name is Jong Woo-seo, Ace. I play Protoss, and this is my Inter Extreme Masters World Championship.
Zurück sind wir hier auf den Extreme Masters. Und diese beiden Jungs scheinen ready zu sein hier für dieses große Finale. Best of 5 wird gespielt. Beide müssen mindestens, nein, auch gleichzeitig höchstens 3 Maps gewinnen. Ich bin sehr gespannt, wer es machen wird. Ich glaube, im Hintergrund sind die beiden auch noch für ein kurzes Interview zu haben. Oh, sie kommen direkt auf die Bühne. Okay, wir wollen keine weitere Zeit mehr verlieren. Also deswegen jetzt einen großen Applaus für Ace und Moon! Und da haben wir die beiden im Bilde. Und wir schauen uns den ersten Spieler jetzt hier an. Ja, ein koreanisches internes Duell. Moon hier im Bilde. Und bitte jetzt mal einen großen Applaus für Moon. Wir kennen ihn alle. Er war schon öfter in Deutschland. Ein sehr sympathischer Mann. Zerg spielt er. Und sein Gegner auf der anderen Seite, den ich bitte jetzt mit einem ebenso großen Applaus begrüßen möchte, ist Ace. Großen Applaus. Immer fröhlich, immer ein Lächeln, und diese beiden werden sich hoffentlich ein so knappes, geiles Match liefern, dass wir das nicht mehr vergessen werden. Und die Kommentatoren, die für euch da sind, werden dazu einiges beitragen. Niemand Geringeres als Telo und Day9. Viel Spaß damit!
Welcome to the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. This is the grand finals for Starcraft 2. I am Day9, and I am joined by none other than the little one. How you doing, Dr. Dario?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing excellent. I'm doing absolutely amazing. We are at the finals.
That is true, and it's going to be Ace against Moon, two players who have been undefeated in matches throughout this tournament, although Ace hasn't even lost a single game. He's 13-0 right now going into the finals, but he's going to have a lot of trouble because he's up against Moon's really aggressive, weird Zerg style.
Yeah, but I'm so excited about maybe witnessing a perfect tournament.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, in baseball, that happens all the time, but not in StarCraft 2.
No, it's basically unheard of almost.
Yeah, now the thing that makes Ace cool is less that he has any sort of funky gimmicks or that he is somehow doing anything that people aren't expecting. He's doing the usual sort of thing, getting a lot of Colossi. Perhaps I should just turn this way. You know, he's getting a lot of Colossi and Stalkers and the usual sort of mix, but what makes it interesting is the fact that he is doing it with such incredible timing. I mean, he just gets so many units so quickly that pretty much everyone's unprepared.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Like, if you look at the production tab, every, like, progress bar is always completely synced up.
Yeah. I mean, everything lines up so nicely, and that just makes him very intimidating to play against. It's kind of cool because he's pushing with 2 Colossi instead of the usual 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So he's a lot more aggressive, and I think that almost all his PvZs he's won in the mid game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if he didn't win it after 15 or 10 minutes, he had at least a huge lead.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen a lot of players do the Void Ray Phoenix business this game, or this tournament, but not really so much Ace. Tends to stick with the early expand, the 5 Warp Gate pushes, and then the Colossus play.
Yeah, mixing it up every second game too.
Now, Moon's play has been extremely unusual. Pretty much all Zerg players are in this ultra defensive mode. I mean, everyone loves to do this. You know, I'm going to defend and make more roaches, and then eventually corruptors, and I'm going to keep defending until I get broodlords, and then I'm going to move out to attack. But Moon has been way aggressive at the Hydralisk phase.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see both styles clash, because they both have a different style than anybody else in the tournament, and they didn't face each other yet, so I'm curious.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rematches going on. I mean, Squirtle against Moon in one of the semifinals. There was even Squirtle versus Moon Glade going on in the 3rd, 4th place match. So a lot of these players are building up a lot of experience. We even got the chance to see Sakai, Squirtle, and Zhou play about 50 games with each other in the 4-way tiebreak, or in the 3-way tiebreak that happened 4 times in a row. But now these two players, again, have no matches against each other in this tournament at all.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion that they haven't had any matches played against each other, you will corroborate that. Now, it looks
correct.
like, here's something information that was just slipped in my direction, Dr. Dario. Delta Quadrant is going to be the first map, which I think is a weird map to be in a PvZ final.
Yeah, we haven't seen it at all yet. Did we even see it once in a PvC or any Zerg matchup?
No, we have actually not really seen it at all this tournament. There was some Terran vs. Terrans that had it in there, but just listen to this map set. It's going to be Delta Quadrant, then Lost Temple, so things are getting a little bit normal again, then Blistering Sands.
Weird.
Yeah, I'm blown away that Protoss didn't downvote that. Scrap Station, and then Zelnaga Caverns. And there is the huge baller Zerg himself. There's Moon.
Yeah.
I see him.
Show us your face.
That's right. He's very shy. He's in the zone. He's focusing right now. Now, what makes Moon very, very unusual is that he is attacking very often with the slow unit of the game, Hydralisks, which is always really dangerous because Hydras are weak and slow, so it's very easy to crush you if, it turned out it was a mistake in time to attack.
But combining it with his incredible drop play, Hydra suddenly become a very mobile and dangerous force to even bases that lie behind.
Yeah, and the one thing I really, really like is the way that Moon gets away with getting so many drones. He has such a dumb amount of drones. He sees his opponent with 4 warp gates about to attack, and he's just like, all right, 8 more drones, just churn him out. And then when the opponent finally gets to his base, his Hydralisks are halfway done, and then they finally pop out. I mean, I cannot tell you how close that game was against Squirtle in just the regular group stages with Moon's very, very long defense.
I'm just very afraid that Moon might have to mix up his playstyle quite a lot, because it sounds like Hydras and getting a lot of drones might not be the smartest decision against what Ace is doing.
That's one thing that does make the a little bit intimidating to play against Ace, because if you just watch him play, there's constantly a big enough force to make Zerg feel committed to making units.
Yeah.
And that's what we saw happen in every single game between Ace and Moonglade. Ace just kept having more and more and more stuff. Moonglade started getting roaches earlier and earlier and earlier, and inevitably, when Ace did decide to push out, it was 10 minutes after Zerg stopped making drones, so Zerg just had a battered economy, not that many units, and it was some easy games.
Yeah. You'll see in some minutes what's going on.
Does look like everyone is joining the game, because we're going to have this streamed in over 50,000 languages, Dario.
Yeah, that is Europe for you.
That is true. So we are going to be starting once again in just one bit. Now tell me, what do you think Moon will be able to do as a Zerg player on Delta Quadrant? Because it's a really uncomfortable place to start.
Well, what he can do is spawn cross position.
That's always a good thing to do in the grand final of a tournament. Do a strategy built upon hope. I hope he's cross map positions from me, but we've seen Moon hope very successfully before. So it looks like both players are ready. The game is loading up. The map is going to be Delta Quadrant. I'm really excited to see both players play. Your natural expansion, extremely vulnerable. Air plays, very powerful as well.
Yeah, and there are definitely a lot of attack options you have on this map. It's going to be hard to expand around a lot.
And there's a lot of people here. Hello, everyone. Is everyone excited for the finals? Very good audience. That's what we want. We want an interactive crowd, so we're going to be doing lots of cheering, lots of exercises throughout here. So, ladies and gentlemen, get ready for Game 1 on Delta Quadrant. Interestingly, that hope-based strategy for Moon working out great as he is in cross-map positions. Moon in the top left as the red Zerg. In the bottom right, we have Ace as the blue Protoss.
Yeah, you just know you're really good if you have luck in tournaments like that. I mean, luck favors always the bold.
That is true, and Moon, the most bold of all Koreans. Ex-Warcraft 3 player against Ace, an ex-Starcraft player. We see Moon doing a relatively early extractor trick, not very popular in Europe or America, but many of the Korean server players do it quite a bit. Ace continuing to chrono boost probes, already planning that pylon at the ramp. No early expand coming up, because I mean, you can just look at this natural expansion way wide open, and even though it is cross map positions, we see that Moon's natural expansion is right next door.
And now if I think about it, it makes perfect sense to not downvote Delta Quadrant against Ace, because in almost every PvC he was playing, he played a Forge expand, which is impossible on Delta.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. Ace's primary strategy, the early expand, not even possible on this map. We see Moon going for the extractor gas play that will allow him to get Zerglings with speed up very soon. We see Ace doing a little bit of drone harass. Worker going to battle back, not going to stand for any of that.
Yeah, it's not as annoying as when you're Terran player and your SVs can't even heal up. It's kind of okay as Zerg.
That is true. We do see that probe from Ace continuing to try to just poke and be aggressive. Right now, Ace has seen absolutely everything that he needs to see. He's gonna maybe try to do a little damage to these drones. If he picks off one, that wouldn't be a good game, but that would be deeply embarrassing for Moon.
Yeah, and you always feel terrible when that happens.
And playing Starcraft 2 while embarrassed, a hard feat to overcome. And it looks like Ace just has the ever so tiniest of holes at this top side above his gateway, is completely walling off his front as expected, and will likely plant a second geyser soon.
And here it comes.
Oh, that felt so good. My clairvoyance is on today. There's the spawning pool, getting the metabolic speed boost, so we're seeing a very defensive play by Moon.
Yeah, he's only gonna get 4 Zerglings, so he's not gonna be attacking with Zerglings putting pressure on him. It's just to control the map, kick every probe you can find and deny proxy pylons. And there's a second probe coming out. I think Ace is just gonna hide it maybe and try to get a second sneak into Moon's base.
Now this is something interesting. Ace has not put guys into his assimilator yet. Now if and he's putting guys into the assimilator now, that's an extremely long time without having guys in the gas. That could potentially have been quite a mistake. We see Ace hiding one probe down here while sending his other scout probe back home. So right now Moon is not aware that there's a second probe out on the map.
Yeah, and I really like that play because a lot of Protoss players are complaining that you can't scout this against Zerg at all until you get Phoenix or Observer. But you can always try to hide probes. I mean, you did that in StarCraft 1 already, right?
Indeedy do. There's the Twilight Council going down. Yeah, that's one great point, is that really you could get the obvious unit like the Observer or the Phoenix to scout, or you could just be good. Being good's hard in this game, but look at Ace pulling it off with that hidden probe. There's Moon sending the Overlord in from the right side, and we do see Twilight Council going down. Given the gas build-up for Ace, I would imagine that he's going for a Blink Stalker play, so Moon's going to have a very nice defense set up for that. We see no gas being, not enough gas for a layer, but now Moon's beginning to get some. Looks like he might be gearing up to try to do a Hydralisk defense, but I don't know if he's going to have enough time to get those out for these Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, and maybe that probe out of the field is actually not going to be only used for scouting, but he's probably going to put a proxy pylon somewhere close at the left gold expansion, to the, very close to the natural of Moon. And here comes the proxy pylon at his gold.
And there it is going down right now. So that way it's just a little bit of distance to be able to get to his opponent's main. And we see Moon actually making nothing but Zerglings. Looks like Moon has a pretty good read on his opponent. A great way to read Protosses is just to poke at the front of his base. And if you see no sentries, you know he's going to be doing something a little bit aggressive. That's generally either Dark Templar or some sort of Blink Stalker play. And now Moon's going to try to poke at the back. Is there an expansion here? No, there's actually, the Rock is still very, very high on health. So right now Moon's feeling real suspicious that something's up.
Yeah, and he is building an evolution chamber, probably gonna get a Spore Crawler just to be completely safe, which kind of plays well into the hands of Ace, because he is in fact not playing Dark Templar but Blink Stalkers.
There's the 2 Spore Crawlers going down, very defensive play, and now that all those Stalkers are coming out, Ace is moving out with a very aggressive early game move. We see another pylon going down for Ace on the left side of the map, and we see some Stalkers getting warped in already. And it looks like Moon is going to be going for an only Zergling defense. Lets the Spore Crawler in his main finish, but canceled one at the natural expansion. And look at this, 12 Zerglings coming out right now.
And it looks like Moon is going to have enough Zergling to defend the initial push.
And it looks like there's the surround. The Zergling's doing a lot of damage, picking off a lot of Stalkers. Ace is not being able to blink at all enough, and Moon with a very easy early defense. Zealot's trying to get warped in for Ace, but there's going to be almost no way that he can possibly hold this off. Sure, you can blink 5 feet to the left, but the Zerglings will just walk there and kill you, and that's exactly the technique we're seeing Moon employ.
And there are 20 more Zerglings coming in, so there's no way Ace can put any more pressure on him.
Yes, that is true. There is the end of the attack. Moon manages to get a huge lead, coming out right in game 1. Very good, audience, very good. We do see there is the +1 melee attack going down. I always love it when a player gets a building to deal with something else, but then still uses it when that's not the case. Built the Evo chamber for detection, and then ended up getting the +1.
Yeah, I'm always very sad if I see buildings not being used, but I mean, look at Ace now. He only has 31 supply, and he doesn't even have an option to expand until he takes out the box, and it's gonna take ages for him.
Yeah, he's just slowly whittling away down here. Keep in mind that if somehow Moon does manage to win this game with his advantage, that will be the first game that Ace has lost this entire tournament.
Yeah, I mean, that would actually make me a little bit sad, but I am rooting for Moon for sure, because I want to see...
Because you're an unbiased commentator.
Yeah, right.
Ah,
I'm
okay.
so neutral.
That is true. The neutral lead given to Moon at this point in time. We do see that he left that Spore Crawler up. I think that's a smart play, given that this main is so vulnerable to any sort of air play, which we have seen Ace do a little bit of when he's under the gun. All those Zerglings from Moon now being used to take out this destructible rock. We see in the production tab that +1 melee attack for Zerglings nearly done, and that really does boost the amount of damage that those Lings can do.
Yeah, I mean, Zerglings and Marines are probably the 2 units which benefit from upgrades way more than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and look at this. Ace actually walling himself in with this pylon. Nothing can get in or out of this base. He is, just going to be getting this Nexus at the natural expansion now, and a Spire popping down for Moon as well.
And I really like what Moon is doing right now. He's killing all the rocks on the map that he needs to kill to take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
And way too often we see Zerg players just idling with Zerglings, not doing anything, but you can always do something.
That's true. I mean, even now that these rocks are down, Moon can always put a huge ring of Zerglings around the map like this and cover all the possible paths that something could be sneaking out. And indeed, Ace is going to do a Stargate play now that he's feeling a little bit behind. If you just make gateway units, you're basically saying, I can out-macro my opponent. But when you are getting Stargates, you are saying, I can out-control and out-skill my opponent because I'm way far behind.
However, Moon is gonna have mutas out pretty soon. At least it looks like it, because he's saving up so much gas, and his mineral count is gonna sync up with his gas count the second the Spire is finishing, which suggests mutas and not corruptors.
And there is the Spire popping out right now. We might even see a +1 air upgrade. Moon will end up making those Mutalisks whenever he hears me make some Mutalisks, man.
Oh, actually he's making corruptors.
Wow, making a Corruptor. And there is the +1 attack upgrade going down. This is actually a very surprising play.
Yeah, this is a little bit confusing for me at the moment. How did he get supply stuck, by the way?
Well, it looks like he did lose 1 Overlord on the map, but this is a pretty bold read by Moon to get the Spire that quickly and then to just get the upgrades. This is actually quite smart if you think about it. He's not going to commit to making units until the last second. Until then, he's going to get all the necessary upgrades, all the structures, and by getting 1 Corruptor out, he kind of has a backup plan if there's some fast Phoenixes coming. But for the most part, he can just scout. And look at this, Dario, another expansion going down for Moon.
Yeah, it is really smart. I mean, for now he's just making drones, maybe a little bit too many considering how far ahead he is, but getting all the tech structures and getting more and more options any minute that the game goes on.
Yeah, this is the classic play that we've seen Moon make again and again and again. When he's ahead, he just gets ridiculous numbers of workers. I mean, look at how saturated his gold expansion is, and this gold expansion at the left, even going to get droned up a little bit. And he just has some Zerglings, and now the Hydras and the Corruptors, and all the upgrades. Look at all those upgrades coming out. +2 melee attack, range, air attack, speed for Roaches.
Yeah, he's just making everything. And Ace seems to be finally pushing out. He has 4 Phoenix. He is going to be able to take out some drones, but Moon has the Spore Crawler at every single expansion.
Yeah, Moon just doing a brilliant job of extending that early lead he gained by crushing that Blink Stalker push. And here's the drones being transferred now to the left gold expansion. And the income from Moon is just going to be through the roof. Look at almost double his opponents, and look at that 70 worker count. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, how often does it happen that you actually can saturate 2 gold bases at once? You know, when...
At the 14-minute mark, no
Yeah.
problem. He invested well as a youth.
Yeah, and Ace is moving out to the Watchtower, but his army is not looking too scary.
He has a very small army from Ace. He's actually expecting more Roaches and Hydras. This is why he's getting these Phoenixes, so he can lift those up, help his Gateway army. But there's actually like infinity Hydralisks waiting at the natural expansion, backed up by Lings that again do have that very, very critical +2 attack. Look at that, 7 damage a hit. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that is more than a single sentry is doing, actually.
2 Spine Crawlers going down for Moon at the right expansion. Ace trying to get into a good spot. And look, there's finally the Roach production by Moon. And again, Moon has a tremendous food lead. Ace trying to get into a good position. Here the Phoenix is starting to dart up. And there it looks like waiting for a good position. Now lifting up some of the Hydralisks. And all of a sudden those 13 Roaches do hatch. The Hydras in the front ripping apart the Phoenixes. The Gateway army from Ace just cannot hold a T to this huge force. And there's the good game. Moon defeats Ace for the first time this tournament.